really nice to be able to end things on a high note. And what's a better high note than Nathan MacKinnon hitting that 700 career assist mark too? Like there's a lot of really good things to take out of it, and that's just kind of the highlight when looking at this game for me. Nathan MacKinnon getting back to normal is the first start of getting Avs being back. So if that's what you're getting and you're hitting milestones like that and seeing the versions of Nathan MacKinnon you know and love, that's about as back as I need.
What can you say about Nuke in this one? I mean, we raved about him. He was one of our 3 stars, but it felt like this was the offensive outburst we've kind of been waiting for. He did a lot of the things well in this game. Thought he was great defensively as well, but I've been waiting for this type of production from him, especially, without Nichushkin, without Landeskog. This is what they needed.
Absolutely. I don't have, I think, enough good things to say about what Valeri Nichushkin was able to accomplish in this one. Obviously, you'd like to see things get going more on the goal scoring front, right? Like that's, with as much as he kind of likes to drive things for himself, drive to the net, like you'd like to see that occur a little bit more. But being able to say that the top line was clicking the way that it was starts with a conversation like Valeri Nichushkin's and being able to find his teammates the way that he did and producing the way that he did. It's when you have that production with top guys out like Martin Necas, and you're able to get that out of a Valeri Nichushkin kind of producing that way with those top guys, it's all you can ask for, right? Especially heading into a break, heading into a game where they're really wanting to end things on a high note. That's a huge plus in a game like this. So Bednar kind of mentioned too, like if fatigue draws into a lot of what these players have been going to, some of the maybe skids or not great games coming out of these results for some of the guys. And I think Valeri Nichushkin's been part of that conversation as well, maybe being a little overworked with some of the shortening of that bench, and seeing him being able to utilize that in a way that was beneficial, not just for him, but for the team as well, is huge.
How do you balance the takeaways of a game that you dominated the vast majority of, but got put into jeopardy because of a 5-minute stretch in the third period?
I really don't know. I think the thing that I focus on really here is you had 2 really good two periods to start this game off. And I think being able to utilize some of that momentum to get things back on track is huge. Timely goal from Josh Manson, being able to cushion that with a Brock Nelson to 2 guys who really have needed goals in the last couple, especially talking about maybe some of those players' skids. Brock Nelson getting back on the board is huge. The fact that they were able to kind of shake that off and, come back into that a little quickly and capitalize on some of the mistakes that the Sharks started making after that is huge. So it overall, like, that little skid in the game really doesn't do a whole lot for me personally, just knowing that it didn't really affect their game as a whole. They were able to, again, use that momentum from the first 2 periods, come back into it and respond. Like that is what we've been asking of this team for the last couple, is just find some sort of energy to respond when a team is getting ahead of you, and they did exactly that.
How important was this win in the big picture? Because if you lose this game, it doesn't bury you or anything like that, but just the simple concept of going into the break on a high note.
Going in on a high note, I think, is huge for morale of the team, but in the end, I really don't think it does anything for the way that they come out of it. It'd be a little bit of a different story if we're seeing the version of the Avalanche we saw before January, before Gabe Landeskog and Devon Toews went down, where they're dominating opponents and winning, multi-goal games every single night that they play. Like that'd be a different story. Like, okay, like making sure you end things positively builds that momentum going into the break and coming out of it. For this one, I think looking at the schedule ahead for March and how stacked it is coming out of it, it's really not going to matter. What matters, I think, most of this team, yes, it's something good to end off on, but they're getting rest. They're getting much needed rest before they hit the ground, not just running, but sprinting. You're talking about 5 and 7, a multitude of games in a stretch of 50 days it's not easy for some of these guys. And so as much as it is nice to, I think, get this win and be able to, cap things off well, ultimately I don't think 2 points is 2 points at the end of the day, but it matters what you're able to do with that out of the break. And rest, I think, is going to matter more to them than being able to cap this off on a high note.
The Avs got Devontae's back last game, but obviously it didn't end the way you wanted. Is there a level of comfortability in that decor again? Devon getting kind of back up to speed in this game?
Absolutely. And you see that trickle-down effect coming from a guy like Devon Taves too. Brent Burns, I think, had a really great game, made some really good plays on the defensive side of the puck. And that is the Devon Taves effect, everybody. That is, I think, a huge factor in this. When you're getting a good game out of somebody like Devon Taves, that's, one of the main factors in being able to win a game. When you've got that confidence on the defensive side of the puck, being able to provide a lot of good things. And again, not just defensively, but he made some decent pushes offensively too, and creating, some decent chances for Colorado. So when you have Devon Taves firing in that way, it's huge for the confidence of this team. And it's a big reason why again, obviously it takes more than just one person to go out and put up a good two periods, but Devon Taves, I think, is a huge part of that.
That's all I've got. You got any takes left in the chamber? You want to empty the clip, call it a night?
No, I think just like these guys, I'm ready to get into break mode. Again, nice way to head into break. Nice to see some of these guys getting back on the score sheet and firing on all cylinders. Go do it again in Milan for the 8 guys heading there.
You call it break mode, but we're still doing shows 5 days a week.
I know.
You're still going to find
I'm
us
aware.
on DNVR doing it, breaking it down.
Aware.
So make sure you keep it tuned here to DNVR. Bailey, thank you for calling in on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. Go follow her on Twitter, Bailey Curtis, with 2 Ys for the Bailey, and then check out all of her written stuff on thednvr.com. She does all of our instant reactions